we got some new merch made, but it's only exclusive for our Patreoners.
So if you go on our Patreon, we got some new tiers. We got the coffee mug tier
and the hoodie tier.
And if you're a defibrillator, you get both. Baby. So make sure you go to Patreon, check that out, and thank you guys so much for supporting and enjoy the video.
What is the most polite country you've ever been to?
Denmark.
Denmark. I've never been to Denmark.
Most polite, Japan?
Most polite, yeah, I'd say Japan.
Japan.
I would say Japan or Norway.
Norway's very polite.
I remember that you went dog sledding, right?
Yeah.
And we talked, yeah, because after that, I just wanted to go dog sledding.
That was actually Finland, Lapland.
Oh, okay.
Lapland?
Very polite there too.
And yeah, you changed my perception on dog sledding and all that.
Why did you think it was abuse?
Yeah. I really did, and you said it was very humane, and they actually need it because they're like super working dogs.
Oh, I see.
It's like they got ADHD and they want to run.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Wait, he loves dogs, by the way. Just saying.
I love dogs.
He's a big dog guy.
Yeah. That's why I don't have none.
Is this like a most polite country in the world survey?
I wish it was, but it's not. In fact, it's actually about specifically Japan.
I win, losers.
For Yulin.
That's China.
China.
What's that?
The dog festival.
Oh, no.
Where you eat the dogs?
No, yeah, China is far from the nicest country in the world, I would say.
I heard the countryside is nice. I just never went there.
Never been. I don't know. I only read the news. In Japan, though, they recently went viral. The police force went viral for a very weird interaction with a leftist group in Japan. So I don't know what a leftist group means per se, but in their world, it seems like they were criminal, and this leftist group was involved with like a riot that happened in the 70s, which is 50 years ago, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with.
They might be a serious communist group because there was a time.
Is that what leftist means?
Yeah, basically. Okay. But there was a time when North Korea was funding pro-communist groups in Japan to try and shift it toward their way. Yeah. And I think maybe Russia or just other countries had involvement in that. So at the time the Cold War was happening all over the world, Japan, because it's an ally of the West and all that stuff and yada yada, that's how they were trying to infiltrate. So if this was happening in the 60s or 70s, I think that's time appropriate for that phenomenon that was going on. So there were terrorist groups in Japan actually. Wow. And what ended up happening is there were what do you call it, like hostage situations, there were certain government building takeovers and things like that. So
that's not very polite.
That is not very polite.
Well, sometimes you burp a little bit.
It's more about the interaction that the police had.
The hostage situation was probably like, please, can you go over here?
Oh, that's very polite.
That's not too far off.
Or else I kill you a little bit.
Yeah, so a little bit more backstory. So the 83-year-old leader of this group, Takeo Shimizu, he recently made a speech at a Tokyo rally. And that was his first appearance in 51 years, so since the 70s. Yeah. Wow. And so I guess that's the reason why now the police are back on his trail. And they recently got a tip that one of its members made a driver's license with a false address or something. So that was the way they traced it back to this particular warehouse. And this video shows you what went down when they went to go make an arrest or whatever they're trying to do here. All right, so this is polite Japanese police.
Are people just recording it?
And it's like news media or something. So they're trying to saw through the door. And they're like, what the fuck?
Hey, you don't have to saw my door, dude.
And you're like, hey.
We could just walk through here.
You can just use the door, hey.
Oh my shit.
I like how you push the police.
You push the police, one.
I'm renting.
Two, they force the police to temperature checks for COVID.
That's so funny.
That's so crazy.
Oh my gosh, that is hysterical.
And that is the Japanese police for you.
Wow. Dude, the Japanese police is so nice.
Why can't they be that nice around the cove?
That's crazy.
What's the cove?
You guys don't remember the cove? The dolphin thing?
Oh,
in Japan.
Fuck, too real, man.
Dude, I don't know. I'm just like, oh fuck.
Oh, that documentary.
I haven't seen it.
What were the Japanese police like in that one?
So
Well, it's not the Japanese
yeah,
police per se,
no. So
But it's the government and like.
was it an Australian documentarian guy or whatever?
I don't know.
Anyways, based off of that, it's just a little town, and they're an old school like fishing village, and then they have this tradition where they herd dolphins into the cove, and then they kill them.
And then they kill so many that the ocean water is just fucking
seen
thick
pictures.
red.
Yeah.
Don't watch the doc if you don't have a good time. Don't watch the doc.
But it's like the Yulin Dog Festival where it's not like Japan, it's just this little town's tradition.
Right.
So it's not really reflective of
Japan as a whole.
Right, yeah,
Okay.
it's just that area. Yeah.
Would you say this is a representation of Japan as a whole in terms of
I've seen
how
some
police
funny
are?
shit like that. Dude, it's fucking hilarious. But some stuff is pretty wow. Like it's so bipolar that like they'll have cute little police cars that look like it's for kids. And it's very non-threatening. The whole culture, I think, is built around like not being scary, I guess. And then I think it's all because of the whole military weird shit that they did during World War II. So they want to be far away from that at least. So like
We're not crazy and dangerous.
Yeah.
So the cops come up with clown noses like, I'm sorry, I have to talk to you right now. Beep beep, I'm in a box.
And I think that there might be a little element of like protecting the kids, like not scaring them and
So
shit.
make everything more kid-friendly looking.
Because there's a lot of fucking kids out on the streets too. So like if you've noticed, like when we go there, right, there's like 6-year-olds and 5-year-olds by themselves.
Yeah.
And then there's everywhere access to them. So like if they're in society, you don't want to scare them or whatever. But there's all these different reasons for that. But I've seen, so remember in the Shinjuku area, the entertainment area, right? Yeah. I remember walking around with my mom, and then there was these cops marching down, like military dudes. And then they were just pushing people out of the way, like they were going somewhere. And then they all lined up behind a building, and then they started grabbing up all of these mafia guys.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. And then they were just covering their heads, and then the media guys came and started taking pictures, and that was a pretty like, whoa, it looked like some Gestapo shit. Like they all
That's a far cry from what we see here.
Yeah. But
It's like clown car shit.
Yeah, this is comical. Like the internet, this went viral, and the internet's basically like Japan, stay you know, because like the rest of the world seems to be on fire, you know, and like especially in the States, you don't walk up to a cop and hey, use the fucking door, you know.
Who are the people taking the temperature? They're the gangsters?
They're staff members of this organization, and they're forcing the cops to.
Before you come in here and arrest us, I gotta check your guys' temperature.
Exactly. I know you have a warrant, but let me check your temperature first.
I like how the cops are like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
Our
just
cops
single
would be
file.
like,
Yo, we
fucking,
single
they
file.
put you on the ground already.
Exactly.
Jesus.
the cops there too look like you can beat their ass.
I do feel like there's like a strong air of discipline there, though, where there's something underneath that where like you don't want to mess around in Japan.
Because
Somebody at the top is gonna mess you up.
so the guys that you see in public, like they're more like the TSA guys, and when serious things go down, there are the SWAT guys. So like there's footage, you can find this, right? There was this one guy, he was drunk, he was an American dude, 6 foot something, he was belligerent, and then you see the real Japanese cops that come out, and they don't have guns out there. So they do everything with hand.
Oh, fuck.
And they were just chasing this guy around, and then one guy tackled him, and he's like a 5 foot dude. And then the other guys just piled on him, and they just did some jujitsu stuff and had him in a choke. So like a lot of this stuff happens.
I wish our cops were trained like that.
Well,
True.
they don't have any people with guns that'll shoot at them. Yeah, so
True. Different. Oh yeah, you know what? The gun thing is actually a really big difference that America has to
That's a
face
huge
compared to
difference.
all other countries. It seems like most countries don't have that same issue with guns.
And even culture in general too. Like, I think in a lot of Asian culture, obedience is like one of the top things. So it's like,
Respecting
yeah, so even if
authority.
you're wrong, you're just like, that's authority, I'm gonna obey for now,
Yeah.
you know? Versus here, it's like, if you feel you're been wrong, you're gonna stand up for it 100%. So it just creates more recipe for conflict.
I couldn't believe just walking around Tokyo, the floors are like clean enough to eat off of, which is crazy. It's like everyone obeys the rules.
Yeah.
Have you been to Singapore?
No.
same shit.
Really?
Yeah, but you're like, not only would I eat off of it, I would fucking deliver a baby here.
Really?
But it's draconian there though. Like
No, it
the
is.
reason why it's like that.
What does
is
draconian
because
mean?
Like super, it's
Punishment
scary.
doesn't.
Scary.
Punishment does. Like in Japan,
Like,
it's
I'll beat your
not
ass
because
for
it's
that.
draconian. So for example, like in Singapore, right? Like if you spit gum on the floor, you get caned or whatever, right?
Right. Okay.
Oh my
I've heard of that.
gosh.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I think
exaggerating,
if
but
you get
do
caught with
caned.
marijuana, you're like in jail for
Yeah.
10,
If
30.
you get caught blowing a dude, you're going to jail too. If you're a guy.
But
So-
in Japan though, if you litter or whatever, you don't get beat for it. You know, it's not the same. But
I just didn't know that stopping dudes from blowing dudes in public would make the streets so clean. Or I'd have been for that here too, I think. That's what I think.
I'm not gonna touch that one. I'm not gonna touch that one.
there are funny videos though, or like really cool videos of this stuff going down. There's fist fights too with like citizens and cops and stuff. Yeah, I just went down a rabbit hole of all this stuff.
In Japan, specifically Japanese cops.
You know a lot about Japanese cops.
Yeah, I don't know. I just went down the. It was funny. Yeah.
Was Super Cop a Japanese cop or a Chinese cop?
Hong Kong cop.
Hong Kong cop.
And then Super Cop, he actually teams up with
British police? Oh,
Chinese
Chinese,
government cops and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, you gotta know your
Jackie
Asian
Chan.
shit to understand that movie to its fullest.
I haven't watched it in 25 years.
They have really cute outfits.
They do.
They're like little trousers with galoshes, you
They're
know?
like, oh, come on, we don't look threatening.
Looks like slightly British.
Yeah, and then they kind of like slouch a little bit, and which, yeah, like they're not very, like, I don't know.
It's great. It's great.
Why does Singapore hate the gays? Do we know?
They do?
Yeah, big
Oh,
time.
I didn't know
big
that.
time.
I don't know about Singapore, but having been to Malaysia, Malaysia is there's like Muslim
Huge Muslim.
community and stuff, and even the government has like
That's their national religion, right?
I think so, yeah, and even the government has like Muslim like laws built into it or something like that, and so with like just conduct and stuff, it's very conservative, I would say.
Yeah, like you can't hug, like men can't hug women. And then we did like we had like a live event out there, and then the people watching, they had to be split up with men's section and women's section. Like they couldn't co-mingle.
Yeah, and the reason why I bring up Malaysia is because they're like literally side by side to each other.
Where was that?
Like very close.
Malaysia.
Well, Singapore used to be Malaysia,
Yeah,
but
that's
then
why I bring
it's
up Singapore.
It's the Chinese immigrants in Malaysia that felt like second citizens. They took over Singapore, says this is ours.
Yes, and I was in Singapore teaching young students how to like write movies and shit. And I remember them telling me like, don't say anything against the government. And I was like, I can't say like the government sucks or anything here. And they're like, no, you can't say that to me. Like,
Only if you want to go to jail.
yeah, exactly. It was
I
like-
think that's just how they roll in Southeast Asia.
A lot of countries
I
are
don't
like
know,
that,
yeah,
actually.
and, like,
Americans are very lucky to be doing the shit that we do
yeah.
right now.
So I hope the Singaporean government is what I'm trying to say. I hope the Singaporean government looks up everybody who worked with me in that filmmaking class, and they interrogate those people, and then make sure that they're all down with like what Singapore wants.
Oh man. That's super democratic, Steve.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. You know, I'm a man of the people.